Welcome to Metaphysical Soul Speak. I'm your host, Elena Fox Starks. Hey guys, I hope you're doing really well in this moment in time, that whenever and wherever you happen to be on this beautiful blue-green earth that God created for us, that you happen to be aware of your ascension symptoms, but also what ascension symptoms are and what they mean. I was watching a video today of Shri and Kira, and you could find them on, well, Shri and Kira. I think this might be Shri and Kira official. Not sure if there's an official on there or not on YouTube. They're also on Instagram as, I think, Shri and Kira. And again, maybe with official, I can't remember. But they have the Tosa Blue Mountain Retreat here in Ecuador, and I've never met them, never been to the retreat. Love them dearly. Very sweet people. I don't know them, in person, but I know somebody who knows them. And it's weird, they were on the same path as me. They lived in Guatemala, in fact, in the same city where I lived for a while. And now they live like just not that far from me now here in Ecuador. So strange. I don't know why they were called and then I was called to go on the same path pretty much. I can't remember what year they said they were there, but in Guatemala, but in fact, you know what? I think they were there and I was there because there was a spiritual retreat center place, really nice one, that was for sale when I was there. And it might have been them who were selling it. And I remember one day my son said he met a wizard. In looking back, he says, yeah, this wizard gave me this crystal. He's a really strange man. He was like a wizard, and he's got long white hair, long white beard. And I was like, my son shows up with his new agey crystal wand one day. He's like, yeah, so this wizard gave this to me. And now looking back, I think that might have possibly been Shri. If it was that, because there wasn't that many people like that. There were a lot of hippie types in Guatemala, but there weren't, like that is like pretty specific. But then later I did meet a guy that kind of fit that description, but not quite, so I don't know. But Shri and Kara have been at this ascension path consciously for 30 years, 40 years, something like that. I think longer than me, so I think 40 years. I've been pretty much knowing I was going to be on the ascension path since 1987, when I participated in that huge meditation, which was especially huge because there was no internet. The way that people contacted each other literally was by word of mouth and a landline. It was before cell phones. And there was at least 10,000. They expected 10,000 people to participate worldwide in praise for world peace. And that was during the harmonic convergence. And I remember driving with my boyfriend and his roommate, and we were looking at the skies. I don't know what we expected, but we were told that Quetzalcoatl is going to rise and we're going to see him in the sky. And we're like, we don't know what the hell that means, but we're going to keep looking at the sky. You know, is he an alien? What is this? You know, Quetzalcoatl was the feathered serpent. So, like, literally, is he an alien? You know, he was in Mexico. And this is Jose Arguelles' stuff. Jose Arguelles is responsible for Earth Day. He's responsible for harmonic convergence. He's responsible for the new Mayan calendar and the day out of time stuff. I mean, he's not the one who made the Mayan calendar. He's a Guatemalan American, and he went down to Guatemala and he found Popol Vuh's tomb, supposedly. And he proceeded in misinterpreting the Mayan calendar and all the signs and symbols that come with it. I mean, like, my symbol, according to his thing, is I'm red rhythmic moon. There's 260 Zolkin, or little, signs that you can be. It's a very complex astrology system. And when I went down there and I talked to an actual Mayan, an actual Mayan who actually spoke the language, the ancient Mayan language, because his tribe still speaks it fluently. He had to learn Spanish, and then he had to learn English. And he works in a little museum down in Antigua, where I used to live. And he was telling me, oh yeah, he's like, it's ridiculous the amount of people that come down here, and they will come to discuss with me all the signs, you know, according to Jose Arguelles, who didn't speak the language, doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. And, you know, and it's funny because I was a part of that movement for years, and I even interviewed Jose for an article. As one of my, I think it was like really my first published article was my interview with Jose Arguelles about this stuff that's like totally wonderful ideas, but totally bogus, actually. But it's like I literally went to the source of the matter and talked to somebody in the tribe, and it's like, yeah, no. But it turns out in the actual Mayan thing, I'm a monkey also. In addition to in Chinese astrology, I'm a monkey. I'm born in the year of the monkey, and in Mayan astrology, every day is an astrology sign. There's like 260 days in a Mayan year, and it's like basically I'm a monkey in that one too. It makes sense. It's perfectly fitting, this animal, for a Heyoka lightning shaman like me. So anyway, Shri and Kira, you can spell their names. S-I-R, I mean, no, you can't. Sir. S-R-I is Shri. And Kira is spelled K-I-R-A. So anyway, Shri was talking about the Ascension symptoms that are the advanced Ascension symptoms that we're having in the past week. He did not quite talk about the psychedelic thing that I've been experiencing, like seriously strong acid flashbacks, which have been wholly enjoyable. I'm not gonna lie. I looked down at one of my sweaters today, and there was a psychedelic snake crawling along the arm, and I was like, whoa, where'd you come from, little guy? And I realized it was just my sweater. It was just the coloring of my sweater. It was just, I wasn't that bad. I knew it wasn't an actual snake. I knew it was an acid flashback. But yeah, wow, when those psychedelics start hitting strong, it's crazy. It's like, what the hell? What the hell? I don't think that's an Ascension symptom, yo. I think that's what was in our water. But that happened this morning. I'm like, I don't know if that's an ascension symptom. No one else is reporting the acid flashbacks. I don't. So, all right. But everything that I have been telling you guys in the past week, what we've been experiencing, what I've been experiencing, and I think that other people were too, that I had seen a couple posts and people were reporting similar things. And everything that I've been talking to you guys about in the past week is what Sheree said is happening. And except with one exception, and he said there's been very pinpointed exceptions with pinpointed, very specific pains, like sharp pains have been happening in various parts of the body, depending on who you are and what what you still need to work on, because it's showing you what you need to work on. And then he started talking about what ascension symptoms are, and I'm not going to tell you what he said because I can't remember. I do remember the word upliftment was used, which I love that. I love that word. It's very supportive. Upliftment. But I started thinking, I haven't talked about this in a while, and it might be high time I do, because I have a lot more new listeners. And by the way, if you're new, welcome aboard. Thank you for having confidence in my show. I'm going to do my best to bring you the best, highest quality information in metaphysical and spiritual realms as possible. And if I ever tell you guys something that's wrong, I'm going to turn around and correct myself when I learn the correction, right? It's just how I roll. So anyway, ascension. What is the ascension? Okay, so it's spiritual and it's physical. And if you go to the Bible, and whether you're Christian or not, there's a story in there about Yeshua. In the Bible, they call him Jesus. That's not what his name was. He was Yeshua. And Yeshua, if you're not familiar at all with Christianity, the quick version is that basically he was a man of love and peace and truth, and he lived an amazing life, and he was in complete spiritual mastery of himself. He was fully self-actualized and self-realized as a fully illumined, enlightened spiritual master. In fact, he was an avatar, which is pretty much the highest thing that you can be on the planet, as an avatar. And he held the office of the Christ. There's been, 20 maybe different Christs on the planet, but he was the greatest one. I'm not just saying that because I was raised Christian. I'm not a Christian now. Do I believe in him? Yes. Do I know him? Yeah, I knew him. I was there in that life. I was there when he first said that faith, hope, and love speech. He was my cousin. I was his little cousin, and his younger cousin, and he, and I was a girl, and he called me little sister, and he's always addressed me as little sister. My whole life I've telepathed with him, and he's been here at my side a lot. So of course I defend him, and I defend him too. And I've been defending him forever, just people say erroneous things about him. People wear crosses on their necks. That just drives me crazy. So if your best friend died in a stabbing, would you wear a knife around your neck and perpetually think of their sorrow and suffering and cry about it every day? It just holds them to earth. Actually, okay, on a sidebar, I gotta tell you guys this. Today, for a couple days, I've been kind of having this argument with this lady about this. And I didn't start it off as an argument. I commented on a post, and then she commented on my comment. And then now 2 days later, and this morning, she's like, well, you're the one that reached out to me. I'm like, I didn't reach out to you. I responded to your comment that was on my original comment. And my comment was actually on somebody else's comment who's actually a Muslim. They were just asking about what the post was about. And anyway, I was just talking about this idea that why would you hold horrible images of Jesus, upset, like bleeding and dying on the cross? Like, that's like the most horrible, gruesome moment of his life, and why are you holding that as your energy in your church? It's a sigil of death. It's a death cult. That becomes a death cult, it's like what you're focusing on. Like, take some damn fucking responsibility and focus on his life. He was a good man. Beyond good man. He was an avatar. He was a freaking avatar. Nobody's been as good, I don't think, since. Maybe, maybe actually there's a lot of spiritual masters on the planet. I think I heard one time, and it's an erroneous number, but I think I heard that there were, at any given moment, there were 16 fully realized masters on the planet at any given time. 16. I thought that was a pretty cool number. There's a lot more like enlightened beings. There's a lot more illumined beings. I think illumined is a little bit above enlightenment. I'm not sure. There's like a hierarchy of spiritual levels or something. I don't know. It's not really a hierarchy. It's like you push yourself up the rungs of the ladder. But anyway, today it's like I couldn't barely get out of bed. I was just so sad about this. So angry about these insights I've been having about Christianity and the Catholic Church especially. Like keeping the bones in the crypts underneath the churches. It's literally a death cult. It is evil. It's very, very evil. In fact, the person who started it was a pagan. He didn't give a crap about Jesus. But because he was popular, he wanted to be elected again. That's how this whole shit got started in the first place. This three-ring shit show that's become this religion that's kind of silly. The way that, I don't know, it's not silly to follow Jesus. He's an amazing person, but the silly part is focusing on the death and talking about the death and making up the lie that he did it for the sins of the world. Like, who the hell knows? I think that's propaganda. I think that was shoved into the Bible later. It was propaganda, He died because he was politically right. That you should love everybody. He lived in land that was being occupied. The territory was being occupied by the Romans. I think that's what was happening, wasn't it? Anyway, maybe I'm just thinking of Judah Ben-Hur. But anyway, I was thinking about all the pain, all the insights I've gotten about this. Like, it's so painful to think about that. Like, imagine that if this was your cousin who died in a horrible way, but he was a good person, and then they started like a cult, a religious thing around him, and started taking pictures of how he died, no matter how it would be, like some gruesome way, and then they put those pictures all over everywhere. They did paintings and t-shirts, and then they kept that up, the energy of that death, for 2,000 years. I mean, that's unfathomable. Right? If it was your cousin, your brother, your spouse, like, I mean, that would be unfathomable to do something like that. It's so evil. And then to imagine that you're perpetually killing him off and bringing him back to life every year. It's unfathomable. I mean, think about how we treat the rest of our dead, except for Jesus, right? We honor them and we love them. And if you're me, on Day of the Dead, I put out an extra plate. And I invite all the people that went before me, my ancestors, to come and dine with us. And it's a very sacred and holy rite that my family has been performing since my children were little. It's an honor. We honor them and we remember them, and we, even throughout the year, we sometimes will light a candle or we'll say out loud, we're thinking about you guys, we love you. We know they're just a few dimensions above us without their physical body. They can still hear us. We're still in touch. So when somebody dies in your life and they move on to heaven, and you're sitting there mourning that loss, and you're crying over that loss, and you're crying at the way that they died, whether it was cancer and it took years, or a car accident and it took seconds, no matter how the person died, if you sit and mourn the loss and you think about it and think about it and think about it, what that does is you hold them back. You hold their energy back. And when you have like trillions of people mourning the loss of your death perpetually for 2,000 years, I was starting to feel Yeshua's pain of that, his weariness of that. And I think that's part of why I've been so on the verge of weeping for days. I haven't let it go, because I knew I was just going to never stop crying. That's how I feel. And I didn't realize that's what it was about. So today I asked God to please release from this earth any hooks that any Christian has into Jesus as suffering and pain, and holding him into that freaking pattern. It's a pattern that I had to bust today on this planet. And I did. And I felt a lightening up today afterwards. It's still upsetting me that this is what was happening. Because he was my cousin. He was like my best friend. And he was like a big brother to me. And I love him profusely. And how could, you can't just sit by idly and watch a loved one be hurt repeatedly. And I didn't realize the extent at how much the toll it had been taking. He never mentioned this to anybody. And nobody ever thought, all the illumined people and all the spiritual enlightened people and all of the spiritual advanced masters, nobody thought, I'm going to bust this pattern off the planet. And I had to do a death, so I'm the archangel of death. I was, or am still, I guess, but I'm a human now, and I've been a human since almost practically the beginning. I was only acting as Archangel of Death on this planet for a while, and then I was told by God to become human. I fell to earth to watch over the humans and protect them from some of the more evil things on the planet. The people who fell, the other angels who fell. And it sounds wild and fantastical, but someone told me this, and I was like, okay, you're tripping. That's, wow, good weed you're smoking, but yeah, I don't believe your story. And but the more he told me what he remembered, and he and I were there, we fell together. The more he told me, the more I started to realize it, and I remember bits and pieces of it, of that day, and what it looked like and how strange the color. When we were falling to earth, the color was like kind of a gray-blue color. It was very strange. Anyway, I guess it would have to take the Archangel of Death, the original Archangel of Death, to see what's been happening with Jesus's death and why Yeshua's death and why what people have been doing. It's a death cult. It's a death cult, and it's focused on the death. Well, he died for your sins. No, he did not. He died because political people in charge don't like rabble-rousers who preach against the government. He's always talking about love and life and joy and peace and meditation. Let thine eye be single and thy whole body will be filled with light. Which he never said. That's not the direct quote. That's the quote that supposedly Shakespeare wrote. That these and thys and knowns and whatever thous. He spoke Aramaic. I don't even know if there's ever been a Bible written in Aramaic, which maybe there is. But it's an ancient language. It's not even, no one really speaks that anymore. But, okay, time is an illusion. Of course, people are speaking it right now, just in that time period. But the idea that everyone is holding him back. Loving him doesn't hold him back. Focusing on his death and crying about it every year at Easter holds him back. Was holding him back until today. And I released it. I asked for that to be released. And the thing is, it's not just because I'm an archangel. I don't believe because now I'm just a human. Just like you guys, just a human now. I had to go through everything, learn everything again, and learn everything from a human perspective. Being human is freaking unique and strange and hard as hell. It's not like I started off with any extra knowledge. All I knew was how to take people from when they die to heaven, and I was just like a transporter. Hey, hop in the truck, let's go. We didn't have trucks back then. And I'm still doing it. I'm still releasing people. I'm opening up portals and releasing spirits that come to me that need assistance and gain to heaven when they miss their opportunity. They miss their light. They see it, and recently I've gotten a few people. It's weird. The past few years, they think it's a freaking UFO and they're scared. They don't realize they're dead, and then they see a UFO. So like, oh man, I got into a car accident or my house caught on fire, and now there's a damn UFO in the sky. What the hell's going on? Oops. Then they miss their opportunity, and they got to find a medium to get them over, help them cross, or basically a shaman that could get them through, get them up there. I've only had one bad spirit in all these years, only one, and I knew he was not destined for heaven, but I could tell. But I it's not up to me to condemn anybody. So I had Archangel Michael come and get him. And I pretty much gave him, I gave him some sort of signal. And I'm like, hey, look, this is, y'all got to sort this one out. Figure out where he's headed, because it wasn't. I had one spirit come and try to haunt me, and he didn't know what the hell he was doing. He just stood in my living room for like an hour looking at his feet. And then all of a sudden he just like he didn't know what to do. My husband and I could both see him in our mind's eye. We felt him there. We're trying to watch TV, and here's this ghost standing in our living room. I'm looking at my husband, he's looking at me, and we're looking at the spirit where we know he is. We couldn't see him with our eyes, but and all of a sudden the guy's like, hey. And we're like, hey. And he's like, boo. Oh my God. We were laughing so hard. And we're like, dude, you don't know how to do that right, you know, because like we're not scared of you. Do you want us to be scared of you? And he's all, well, yeah, am I not supposed to be doing that? He's like, I don't know. He's like, I'm dead and I'm here. Maybe I'm supposed to be, you know, scaring people now. That's what ghosts do, right? He was the most laid back ghost. He was trying to haunt us and he couldn't do it. I'm like, dude, just get out of here. And you know, back then, you guys, I did not know my destiny to be a shaman that's going to help spirits cross over to the other side. I didn't know. I prayed for him, asked God to help him. And I think that he got over there, but I didn't do it. Now, God has trained me to open up the portal and how to do it and how to send the spirits through. You know, and so I've been a lot more sensitive to what happens to people when they die. Again, I've been a lot more aware of it. Like, it's just an awareness, and having this awareness of what happened with Yeshua and I'm asking God, is it all cleaned up? Yeah. So God said it's all cleaned up. I mean, I just asked. And you know, we're so powerful. All we need to do is ask anything, any insight you have about something like that. You know, even if it's of that magnitude, you could just say, hey, God, can you please clean this up? Can you please help us with this? Can you please unhook the pain of racism? I'll say that right now. God, please, is it possible to unhook the pain of racism from the people who've been oppressed on the planet so that people can lighten up energetically and see things more clearly with greater insight? Okay, let's do that, please. All right, there you go. I don't know if you guys felt a lightening up. You know, but just keep asking. You guys might come up with different ideas, right? If we could do that, if we all did this. I mean, can you imagine if we all did one idea like this a week? One big idea a week. Anyway, let's get back to Ascension Symptoms, because I've taken up too much of the airwaves with this one. But yeah, I had to unhook it. I had to fix. I just felt like the energetic heaviness of him being held back and dragged down for 2,000 years without saying a word. I love him so much, and it's like, ugh. And I'm sure he was aware of it, but I had to ask. And because it had to do with death, maybe it did take the angel of death. I'm sorry it took me so long. Sometimes I can be kind of dense about this stuff, and you know, I just realized it. You know, today it was the first day that I noticed to do this. But anyway, his story supposedly, I mean, who knows, because Bob might be wrong a little bit, but he died and then he rose again. 3 days later, he ascended himself physically in the body. Because he was an avatar, he could do that. Masters can formulate a whole brand new body if they want. You know, the laws of space and time don't really apply. You know, the material world is easy to, when you have control over it, that's actual self-mastery and self-actualization. And so, anyway, when he went around talking to people that he knew, his disciples and his wife, and he was talking to everybody, and as he did, a flame appeared above everyone's head, and then he ascended into heaven. He basically phased out, went up to another dimension. You know, and so that's the first time that I'm aware. And maybe this has been, you know, probably in the Bhagavad Gita, possibly. the idea of ascension has probably been around a lot longer than 2,000 years. But, it's definitely possible that people were ascended before Jesus, but his story was famous, But what's going on with us now is that we're ascending. We are all collectively like, holy crap, even though we're not spiritual masters, we're not, ascended masters, and even though we're on that path of enlightenment, and we're working on ourselves spiritually, we are physically in ascension because it's time. It's the end of this schematic. It's the end of Earth as we know it. Not the end of the Earth. It's not going to supposedly it's not going to blow up or anything like that. But people who are living in the third dimension, and are very dense mentally, are not going to be able to remain with us, right? So I think a lot of people have been moved over, but I think to another planet, but who the hell knows, right? That's what some people have said. Or maybe they're with us and we're trying to freaking raise them up too. All for one and one for all, baby. It's like the Three Musketeers. But it's the 7 billion humans. Trillion, billion. I don't know how many people we are. The thing's billions. But anyway, we are basically physically being transformed, and we are being transformed through various forms of radiation coming from the cosmos, coming from directly from the center of the universe, in the physical universe, from God directly. And a lot of ETs are helping us, the Pleiadians, Andromedans, Lyrans, Arcturians, they're all helping us. And over the past year and a half, people have shown up in my, I can't see them, but they've shown up, and they're from these other planets, and they've been channeling through me to you guys. Today I'm going to channel Ashtar Sherhan, or, basically Michael Sherhan of Ashtar Command and the Pleiadian Light Forces. Ashtar is kind of like it's kind of like saying general, like General Sherhan, Ashtar Sherhan. Ashtar Command, he's in charge of it all. And they're surrounding us with so many light ships, and they're just beaming all this love and light our way. They're standing by, they're waiting for a critical mass to happen. They're waiting for enough people to ask that they come down and help us. And if you haven't done it yet and you want to, just say, hey, Ashtar, come help us. We want you here. We want you to help us. The moment this happens, then the veil is lifted off that whole thing, and we become a part of the Galactic Federation, which is the thing that people have reported the world over. Lots of people have been contacted by them. Ironically, they're not in government. The whole take me to your leader thing, not gonna be the thing that happens. But they know we're going through ascension. They went through it themselves. The Pleiadians are like our space brothers and sisters, and they've been spoken about by the Cherokee, by my tribe, by many different tribal and indigenous people around the world. And it's only the governments that started it, they were denying it, but now even the Pentagon in the United States are saying not only are extraterrestrials real, we have one of their spacecraft, and we can tell you it is not of this Earth. We have a recovered spacecraft, and it's not of this Earth. That's an announcement came down last week. So, the stuff is real. It's very, very real. Lots of sightings, lots and lots of sightings in the past several months. I've been watching the sightings. Literally, UFO sightings is a hashtag. You could look up on Instagram and just follow the hashtag, and you'll get all kinds of crazy stuff in your feed. And it's like, oh, cool. Here's another ship. Here's another ship. Now, some of the ones, people say they're sightings, it's just CGI that they made on their computer or whatever. But yeah, most of them are definitely people freaking out. There's people going, oh my God, look at it, there they are. What is that? What's that thing in the sky? But as we ascend, we're physically raising our vibration so high that we're going to phase into and physically phase into the fifth dimension. And we've already done that. We're already in the fifth dimension. So Ascension Symptoms, what are they? They are the things that are happening in your physical body as your physical body is releasing and letting go of the third dimension. And a lot of it is working on yourself, your shadow side, all the negative things that you have that are holding you back emotionally, spiritually, mentally. Well, Pepsi, remember my Pepsi. All the things that affect you physically, emotionally, mentally, psychologically of the individual. That's Pepsi. So everything that's affecting you in a way that stops you from being more illumined and more self-actualized and self-realized, those are the things that we need to work on, let go of, heal within ourselves, and heal within the world, And so the Ascension Symptoms are things that are happening to us, like, I was having lower back and hip, like in the sacral area of my hip region for like 2 or 3 years, absolute intense pain, barely able to walk. And only in the past week has a lot of that pain left now. And I hope that if you went through this as well, that your pain has subsided and that you're starting to feel freer. And the first chakra is being affected this week between now and the 8th of August, which is the Lion's Gate portal. To everybody calls it the Lion's Gate because that's, I guess technically it's still Leo. Or I guess it is Leo. We're already in the sign of Leo. The sun is in Leo in the sky, supposedly. So anyway, we are having these Ascension Symptoms, and they've been weird. And lately, there's just this buzzing, vibrating. Kira was saying the same thing that I was saying, that her bones don't know what to do with the energy, and so she has these strange pains that go through her bones. She didn't say vibration or rattling, but she says with her it's been creaking, like having a lot of arthritis-like symptoms. And that's not normal for her. See, she's gone through some health issues and she stopped going to doctors because she decided to realize that she is a fully divine feminine. She's a divine person, having a human experience basically, and she's gotten to a point where she can just heal herself and get herself through things. And she's gotten younger and younger. They both have. You could even tell looking at their videos a couple years ago versus now, they're actually younger. I know I was going through, becoming younger again. Like my hair got white for a while, and then now it's its original color. It's awesome. It's like, oh, thank God, And even now, I still have days where now my hair's white today, but then tomorrow it'll be back its original color. I don't know what that is. And I know that I've had days where I look really old. It's like, what the hell happened to me now? And then, like today, I look younger than I have in a long time. And it's all energy. It's all energetic patterns. It's like I'm trying to slough off, exfoliate the pattern of aging and sickness, because I don't need that anymore. Neither do you. So if you guys want to think about that, you can slough that off. You don't need that. Exfoliate that idea right on out of your mind and psyche. Yeah, so so the Ascension Symptoms, it's just Shri was saying, look, it doesn't mean that you're spiritually enlightened. It doesn't mean that you are ascended because you're having Ascension Symptoms, although that could be a fun mental trip to go on for a while. Ooh, I'm having the symptoms. I'm ascended. No, you're having the symptoms because it's something you haven't healed yet in your body, in your psyche, in your Pepsi. I thought that was interesting. It was the interesting points. I want you guys to pay attention to that. Like, what are you still experiencing? Like this, I was going to start this show. God. Around 11 o'clock, I was going to start the show. I started it a little bit late because I was hanging out with my son a little bit. You know, he and I made spaghetti. I made my spaghetti sauce, and it's enough for 2 days because we're without water still. I mean, today was our first day without water. Tomorrow's going to be another scheduled. And then in the mornings, they've been doing rolling blackouts for 10 minutes every day. No water, no electricity. It's like, what the hell? And I don't know if they're trying to save money. I don't know, but so I made enough food so that we have food for tomorrow as well. And we have extra water that we have in extra things around the house so we could do dishes and wash our hands and whatnot. But it feels like camping in my own home. It's a weird feeling. But I tried to get this done around 11 o'clock. Finally, I was like, all right, I'm going to go do my show. My son, he's going to bed. I'm going to do the show. And as I'm trying to do the show, all of a sudden I got this overwhelming energy. We were hit with something earlier, about 4 hours ago. I don't know what it was. I didn't look. Maybe it was that massive solar flare. I mean, I was feeling pretty okay, even though I'm bloated. That's one of the Ascension Symptoms right now for me, is being, my stomach is being kind of bloated, like things aren't really digesting, or they're digesting, but they're not moving properly, and it's like kind of just stuck. And it's like the third chakra energy it's like I'm being blocked there, and I'm trying to work on that. And as I'm working on that, I fell asleep because I was hit by this massive, I don't even know what it was, some kind of cosmic radiation, solar wind, CME, I don't know what it was. And then when I woke up 2 hours later, it was in my throat. This same blocked energy was the same. And as I'm talking to you, and I'm like, oh great, yeah, nice to have a throat chakra blockage while I'm trying to do my show, damn it. Like, I called upon Ashtar. I'm already connected with him, and I'm like, he is my Pleiadian Ascension partner. If you wish to have a Pleiadian Ascension partner, by all means, just say, hey, I need a Pleiadian Ascension partner. Some twin flames have said, well, you need your twin flame to ascend with them. No, you don't. Some people did go down that path, but that's not necessary. You could send all on your own. You don't need anyone else. But if you want an Ascension partner who will help you, you can ask a Pleiadian. Just say, hey, I need a Pleiadian Ascension partner. And they will help you. They will assist you. When you have Ascension pains, they will help you realize what the pain is from and what's causing it, and what's going to help you to get through that emotion or that physical pain. What is it caused from? And Shri and Kira were talking about this. When you have a pain, hey, all right, anxiety in my heart, what are you from? Why am I feeling you? What's going on? Is this from me? If you're an empath, it might not be from you. It might be from your twin flame, whether you know them or not. If they're in heaven, it won't be from them, but it'll be from people around you. I've been feeling a great deal of pain emotionally from what's happening in the beautiful city of Portland, Oregon. Troops will be pulled out tomorrow. Freaking finally. In an election year, the president uses troops from various sources, the most evil, vile, violent people, to send after peaceful protesters, demonstrators. Unbelievable. The audacity that he's like, yeah, he's just doesn't, he thinks he's always right. He's a narcissist. And he's not going to be elected. Who's going to elect a guy who sends troops after their own people? Their people are being shot, tear gas, and there's a guy I saw yesterday had, what did he have? He had his he was shot in the face with a glass bullet full of pepper. Like, wow. And it he has to have it surgically removed. It shattered on his cheekbone. It's freaking crazy. You guys, let's just send lots of love and light and prayers that way. To Portland. To all the protesters, God bless them. 60 days in the streets for the Black Lives Matter movement. And you know what? Black Lives Matter. That's why they're there, because it's true. So, my heart is always with these people. All right, I'm like long-winded again today. Hopefully, I got you guys to understand what the Ascension symptoms are. I mean, when you're having the symptoms, it doesn't mean I'm ascended now. Hey, I got a pain in my shoulder. Woo! It means it's something you need to work on and get through. You are already in the 5th dimension, by the way. You just need to keep going up, up, up. You want to go to the 7th? Let's go to the 7th, guys. It's got to be even better. 7th heaven, right? Spaceweather.com, guys. Let's go there. Solar wind speed right now is 332.3 kilometers per second. There are there's a new sunspot, so there's basically two. We have sunspot number 22. Ooh, well, that's very interesting, isn't it? That's the number. It keeps coming up. Now we have 2 sunspots, so we gotta be on alert for coronal mass ejections from the sun again. The sun hurling pieces of itself at us. God bless you, Comet Neowise. You're on your way out. It's getting a lot fainter. You can barely see it now. Olu neutron counts are 9.3% of the space age average today, which means they've gone down 0.5% in the past 48 hours. Oh, goodness gracious. Solar wind flowing from the northern coronal hole could reach Earth on August 2nd and 3rd. So great. You know, what's that? Sunday, Monday? Usually it's the weekend. It's when we get this intermittent. You know, have you heard of intermittent fasting? This is like intermittent solar winds hitting us. So Thursday is the 30th, 31st, 1st, 2nd. So yeah, Sunday and Monday, guys. Gorgeous noctilucent clouds, glowing blue, beautiful clouds. Pictures on spaceweather.com if you want to check it out. And this is freaking crazy. Again, lots and lots and lots of fireballs over the United States. According to NASA's all-sky cameras and the all-sky fireball network, 31 fireballs over the United States. And this is only 14 states that they monitor out of 50. 31 fireballs. 17 were sporadic, 8 were Southern Delta Aquarids, 4 were Perseids, and 2 were Alpha Capricorniids. So if you have a nice backyard and you could social distance and wear a mask, you might want to go outside and check out what's over your skies. The Schumann Resonance for disclosurenews.it is 66 today, not a whole lot, but it's up from where it has been. So no doubt people are going to say they felt it, but ignoring the fact that it's so much higher everywhere else. I wish there was enough data in every single city that we could be like, oh, okay. You know, you call your local weather station and also, you know, the Schumann Resonance for that area. That would be incredible, right? So, let's see here. Oops, I'm trying to get to, I have to see how many minutes we have. Okay. All right. This is where we're at. 2 days ago, about 18 hours or so ago. I mean, not 18 hours, excuse me, like, this is like a day and a half, so what's that, like 36 hours, I'm sorry, double what I just said. Monday at 2300 hour, California was at 122 hertz frequency on the Schumann Resonance scale, and this is according to heartmath.org now. They've got monitors set up in 6 places. So California was at 122 hertz frequency. Hafuf, Saudi Arabia, remains at 0. Again, that could be their instrumentation's just not working. Maybe someone unplugged it accidentally. I don't know. Lithuania is at 250 hertz frequency. And Alberta, Canada was at 223 hertz frequency. Northland, New Zealand was at 58 hertz frequency. I hope to God that means that they're not in the middle of a storm again. They just had a 500-year storm, the biggest storm in 500 years. They've had all kinds of stuff going on in Northland, New Zealand, but 58 hertz frequency. And Hulului, South Africa, was at 97 hertz frequency. So, you know, it's like the Schumann Resonance has been very, very, very high around the world. Quite high. All right, let's get at it. Course in Miracles. We've been reading these lessons, and here we go again. ACIM.org is the website for the Foundation of Inner Peace. Here we go, guys. Let's find some inner peace, baby. Lesson 344 is this. Today I learned the law of love, that what I give my brother is my gift to me. Today I learn the law of love, that what I give my brother is my gift to me. This is your law, my Father, not my own. I have not understood what giving means, and thought to save what I desired for myself alone. And as I looked upon the treasure that I thought I had, I found an empty place where nothing ever was, or is, or will be. Who can share a dream? And what can an illusion offer me? Yet he whom I forgive will give me gifts beyond the worth of anything on earth. Let my forgiven brothers fill my store with heaven's treasures, which alone are real. Thus is the law of love fulfilled, and thus your Son arises and returns to you. How near we are to one another as we go to God. How near is He to us? How close the ending of a dream of sin and the redemption of the Son of God. Today I learned the law of love, that what I give my brother is my gift to me. All right, well, there you go. That's it. That's acim.org again, if you want to check it out for yourself. Plenty of amazing apps out there, and they're all free. So, sometimes the best things in life are free. All right. I'm going to take a quick break, and when I do, come back, I will be channeling Ashtar Sherhan, Michael Sherhan of Ashtar Command, and the Pleiadian Light Forces. They are a division of the Galactic Federation. So basically, we're going to be hearing from an ET man, an extraterrestrial man from the Pleiades constellation, right after this message. It's that time of year, guys. Finally. OMG. I am up for not only one, but 2 People's Choice Podcast Awards this year. I had no idea. I just found out. Okay, the voting starts today, July 1st, and goes through the 31st of July. And I need you guys to nominate my podcast. This is how you do it. Go to podcastawards.com and you have to sign up in order to nominate me, in order to vote. And you have to go to the very first category at the top, and it's the Adam Curry's People's Choice Podcast Award. And I'm way down on the list because, M, Metaphysical Soul Speak, the podcast. And you just click that. And then when you're done with that section, you go to the religion and spirituality category. And again, cast your vote for Metaphysical Soul Speak, the podcast. And then you have to go way at the bottom part of the page, and say, save my nominations. And that's it. It's that simple. It takes less than 2 minutes, probably 1 minute if you have high-speed internet, of course. It's not that much. You can even do this on your phone. It's super, super simple. I voted for myself on my tablet. OMG. So thank you for your continued support and listenership and voting for this show, because by doing so, you're keeping the show alive and we're getting the word out so that other people can benefit from my expertise. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's high time you did. It is the absolute easiest way to make a podcast. First of all, it's absolutely free. Second of all, they have creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. You guys have known that I've been doing this for 8 months using the Anchor.fm app right on my cell phone, and I have done it everywhere, right? I have recorded this in my living room, my bedroom, little cafes in Quito, Ecuador, all over Cuenca. It's so absolutely easy to make your podcast, and editing is just a snap. Anchor also will distribute your podcast for you, and it took me about 2.5 months to become syndicated, and now I'm available on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more, and so can you. You can make money from your podcast also, and there's no minimum requirement. You get paid from your very first listener. It is everything that you need to make a podcast all in one place. So please, if you are interested in making a podcast of your very own, do not hesitate to start with Anchor. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started today. All right, guys. Now I'm recording this at 6:30 in the morning, and it was due 6 hours ago. But just going through this crazy energy, the whole collective consciousness, all of us, whether we're consciously aware or not, are getting our first root chakra cleared out. That's like the energy of the week. So the feelings of safety and security, the feelings of survival, when the survival instinct is kicked in versus not kicked in, according to Sherhan Kira. Anyway, so have you felt like you're safer or less safe this week? Or are you striving for that safety energy? I know people in Portland will be feeling a lot safer without those militarized troops there. But, anyway. So, I don't know, it's just like between that and all the cosmic energy, and for me, like, I'm in a city of almost 500,000 people, but 55,000 households tonight, yesterday, didn't have water. We still have one more day without water. While they change the machines, at least it's not a crisis. It's something that was planned a few days in advance. They told the people. But 55,000 households without water, and we're halfway through that water crisis, and now we've got, even though it's not an emergency, thank God, it's just fixing the equipment. But, in the pandemic, I had 3 people in the house this week that I didn't know. 1 to clean and 2 to fix the washing machine. I guess, the guy and his apprentice or whatever. And it's so hard, I wore a mask the whole time the people were there, 4 hours. I wore a mask. And we also had groceries delivered, and we also had yogurt delivered that day. And it's always really sketchy feeling when I start to feel sick after having an interaction with people. So, I don't know, pray for me, guys. I think I don't have COVID-19, but my son is panicking because I'm not feeling good. And that's why I didn't record this 2 hours ago, because I woke him up and he was concerned, why are you not sleeping? And I told him I did fall asleep and I didn't get the show done on time, and we had a whole discussion about that. And so anyway, I'm going to try to get Thursday's show out before sunset so that, you'll get 2 in a row, but at least you'll have them. And anyway, here we go. I am connected already to Ashtar. Sherhan, otherwise known as Michael Sherhan is his name. Michael Sherhan of Ashtar Command, as I mentioned in the first half, and he is part of the Pleiadian light forces. And if you've ever seen a white light ship that looks like a giant orb, orbs usually like the size of your fist or something, but if you ever see something that's really bright white light in the sky, chances are it's a Pleiadian light ship. It's not like, little tiny drone lights. It's like, really like a ship, a whole ship. I think there's maybe plasma energy around it, which makes it so bright. There was some guy on Gaia saying he thinks it's people flying around in their Merkabas, their spirit light bodies. That would be pretty freaking cool if that's true. I don't know if it is or not. So, Michael, if you could address us with that, if you get around to that, let us know if that's real or not real. Because that's, for me, that's kind of a cool idea. I'd love that. They'd give me hope, because maybe if I activate my spirit light body, I don't have to buy a car. I can just fly around. I mean, seriously, I was pricing out private drone taxis yesterday. What's the cheapest way I could get around? I'm like, hey, drone taxi, that's kind of strange and unique and fun. And, when I was a kid, I always wanted to grow up and have flying cars. So, Michael Sherhan, maybe you could address that too. He's sitting here behind me. He said he's going to give me energetic support while I channel him. He is my Pleiadian Ascension partner. So, anyway, I'm going to take a couple breaths and we're going to get right into it. Oh, wait, before we get into it, I got to tell you, in case you're new to the show, I am a telepathic channel. That means I can telepathically communicate with beings of all kinds, and I do not allow them to take over my body. So it's not a, I don't know, I just can't do it. I just can't do the channeling. It's not like a demon possession type of thing is different than a channeling. And some people don't really know how to discern between the two. So it's not like, when you're channeling and they do take over your body, it's not possession, because it's just a temporary inhabitants, just for that time, that, 30 minutes or hour or whatever. And then they leave and the person gets their body back. Their soul steps aside, waits, and then goes back into the body. And a lot of times the person's not aware. But I go into very deep trance when I telepath, and I do not allow anyone to take over my body at all. I mean, I have a hard enough time handling my body on my own. Don't want anyone else in there. So basically, I will go into a trance with I'll take a couple deep breaths. This is something that, oh gosh, over the past 25 years, I have perfected as a way of self-hypnosis. Since I am a hypnotherapist, I'm a certified clinical hypnotherapist, and used to even be unionized and everything. Used to have a practice and everything. So I just I hypnotize myself with those couple breaths, and then I connect to the person, the being, God. Sometimes, yesterday I channeled God, and then I ask them a question, and the first answer that pops into my head basically is theirs. And if I question it, if I think it's maybe not from them, maybe it's my own ego trying to butt in and say, this is what they mean to say, you know. Then I go, hold on a minute, and then I'll do muscle testing to make sure that it's not my own ego trying to bust in with its own weird message versus what's actually coming through. And I've gotten pretty good at it. A lot of you who've been listening to me for a while have written to me and said that I seem to be a clear channel. I think I am too. So, you know, there's always room for improvement, so I'm always trying to do things to improve my connection. So, having said that, I'm going to teach you something in case you've never heard this one yet. Ki A Sha is a phrase that you can use to increase the power of your third eye. Now, when I telepathically communicate, I don't just use my third eye. You could go back the last few weeks of Prime Creator talking about telepathy and literally the structures in your body that are the receivers and the senders. It's pretty interesting. Anyway, I use all these things, my physical body, my third eye, many of my chakras. I use everything. So that way I could get a clearer picture of everything. So they talk to me in colors and lights, pictures, concepts, ideas, feelings, emotions, as well as direct words. And I tell you guys the direct words, then I will convey what I'm also saying and feeling. All right, so I'm going to pause this for a second, put a blanket around me because I'm starting to feel cold, and then I will be taking my deep breaths, and we are going to go for it. All right. Okay, so with my finger, I'm going to touch my third eye, and this is what we say. Ki A Sha, Ki A Sha, Ki A Sha. You do that, your third eye will start to pulsate, and you will be able to see clearer when you're trying to psychically either communicate or just to view something in the past or the future, or in your Akashic records, or in heaven even. You can use it. This is a Pleiadian phrase, and I did not channel this phrase. I found it from somebody on Twitter. So when you go back to the original, I did give that person credit, and I can't remember who they are now, but it's in my notes of the show, the first time I used the Ki A Sha. All right. Here we go. Michael Sherhan of Ashtar Command, you may begin your transmission now. Greetings, Elena. I am happy to be here on the show once again. I am here for everybody, all of you, in fact. I am Michael Sherhan of Ashtar Command. I am with the Pleiadians, the light forces, as you have called them. We are part of the Greater Galactic Federation, and we are here to help humanity raise up into a higher ascended state of being. And because you're taking your physical bodies with you, you are vibrating at a much higher rate these days. And a lot of you are noticing the creaks and the cracks and the changes in your body and all those strange noises and sounds your body has been making. You are aware of all of the energy fluctuations as well. We are certain of it because we have heard so many complaints. And there's nothing wrong with that because you are expressing a need and desire to be heard and loved, and that's what many of your physical ailments or your ascension symptoms are there to point out to you. Many of you need a hug these days, don't you? Consider us, the Pleiadians, your brothers and sisters, as sending you all the hugs you could ever possibly want or need. That's how much we love you, and we consider you to be our family. Everybody needs a hug these days. It is so important, the idea of touch and communication and nonverbal communication that so many of you are craving and now missing. And a lot of you have been worried that you're going to miss out on this, and then eventually you're going to not be able to non-verbally communicate. Yeah, okay, right. I'm sorry. Just dyslexia got that better of me there. But don't panic. You have the intense ability as humans to adapt and change to your environment, and you will all still remember when the pandemic is over. You are all going to still remember what it is to read each other between the lines, as it were, to read each other's body language in between the lines of speech that you say with your mouth. But it is a very basic human need to want this kind of connection, and you don't realize it until you no longer have it, how important this is. And we believe in communication too. Pleiadians have always tried to communicate with humans, at least one individual at a time. And we've never really lost contact. We've been in constant and consistent contact with your planet for more than 15,000 years, you're saying? Really? Not 16,000, 15,000 years. Interesting. I had to do muscle testing on that one. I'm like, wow. So how long has the human civilization been around? In your estimation, 100,000 years? Less? Okay, 78,000 years? More? So, yeah, he's saying about 78,000 years. Human civilization's been around. Now, that would put us at that third Kali Yuga, where we're going to jump off the wheel, the 26,000 year wheel cycle. The turning of the wheels happened once more. So, I don't know, just thought it'd be interesting to mention. All right, Michael, let's get back to your message, please. Indeed, we are helping you. We consider you as family, brothers and sisters, as I said before, and we are all here to help you in your ascension. We're beaming love and light to you on a very consistent basis. We direct energy to you from the grand central sun that comes through the portal of your sun, and we direct this to all of the cells in your body, in every body, in every nation on your planet. That's our intention anyway. We're trying to help everybody heal, everybody strive and move forward, and everybody just generally to feel at ease during the ascension, which is excruciatingly hard at times. But we know because our society went through the same thing. And we all live in the fifth dimension now. But when you are fully anchored in and you're much deeper into the fifth dimension, it's going to be more and more possible for you to see more and more of us and our ships. So keep going if you want to see that, if you want to know us. Keep going. There have been a great number of crises on your planet as of late. We are more than well aware of the Black Lives Matter movement. We are aware of I'm not getting this tote. It's almost like he's saying tote story. I don't know. I'm not quite getting this word. I'm getting trajectory and Toy Story, and these aren't the right words, right? All right, so start with a different sentence, Michael. Sorry. I'm going to take another deep breath. Yeah, what I'm seeing here, guys, in a receptive state, my bones are starting to shake. It's a very strange sensation. It's just high vibrations. Okay, Michael. I think he got distracted for a second. Michael, what else do you have to say to us? I don't know where you were at. He's like, where was I at? He got distracted. See, I don't think he's an ascended master. Are you an ascended master, Michael? He's like, no, he doesn't consider himself so. He's just ascended into the fifth dimension. He's not a master of... You're not a master of reality. Yeah, no, he's not like that. He's not a spiritually ascended master. He's just an ascended person. He says, and that's important. That's clear to... It's important and very important to make that clear distinction. That just because you have arrived at the fifth dimension does not mean you have arrived to the spiritual world. You're not going to be given a golden crown upon arrival into the heart of the fifth dimension, even though you probably deserve it and you wish you had one. And in our opinion, you all are queens and kings, because this is a royal road you travel upon. Going to the higher dimensions consciously is never an easy task. In fact, my world, we started that, we tried it, and then we decided just to die off and then get reborn in the fifth dimension instead. And that's pretty much how it worked for us. It was easier for us to do it that way. So, tell us about that. There is a critical mass necessary for full ascension, and you have achieved it. But what do you do with the ones who are not fully aware and that aren't maybe destined to make it? So Michael is posing this question to you guys. What would you propose to do? So, all right. Ooh. Now I'm having this heady feeling. He says, yes, I'm adjusting your crown. Speaking of crowns. Okay, great. He's adjusting my crown chakra. And he says, and by the way, when you do fully get anchored in, you will always have your crown chakra activated. So indeed, you will have your crowns. Nice. Thank you. I want my crown. Okay. So what else? The myriad of crises that are taking place on your planet right now, as we started to talk about earlier, is spiritually and physically and historically significant, because it's only one, each individual event is only one more event in that basically the humanity has an agenda. If I say the word agenda, don't think I mean like this group or that group or good or evil groups. That's not what I mean. I'm going to say the word agenda, and I want you guys to understand in the spirit in which I mean the word. So there has always been on the agenda, like on the calendar, in the planning of humanity, a day that would come in which humanity would rise up into another dimension physically, even though none of you remembered, and this is also new to most of you. And it's just how it's always been. It's the way this has to go. Well, some people will start to rise up into the higher ways of thinking, and then they will lower themselves into their old thoughts, habits, and patterns. And when those people who have chosen not to ascend and not to be consciously aware of what's happening, when they die and they get reborn, they're not going to be reborn in the fifth dimension. They will be reborn in the third dimension in another world. If they like. They don't have to be reborn. Nobody ever has to be born again, and you don't have to worry about that. If your beliefs are that reincarnation isn't real, you're only here for one lifetime, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Many people feel like it's ridiculous to think that we only live once, and some people really truly only live once, by the way. And those people tend to be very limited in their scope and in their impact, because the longer you've been on the planet, the more impact you have on others, because then you know what you know. He's saying, haha, you know. So, okay, Michael, what else? So the crises are, in effect, designed to bring you to unity. Even though, ironically, the forces that are considered dark, who would want to hold you back because they're afraid of losing power, they're afraid of losing money, they're afraid of letting go, and they're stuck in their egos. The people, the powers that be, are trying to create what you could deem or label a spiritual war. They're trying to. But it's really truly just last-ditch efforts to control the people before the people have control over themselves and they have the knowledge of it. So even though they're trying to push an agenda that is going to separate and hurt humanity according to their minds, they're short-sighted because they don't understand when one gathers with their enemies to fight a greater common enemy, then that camaraderie, it's like adding fuel to a fire. It's like adding extra batteries to have more power. Your minds operate like batteries, and when you go to somebody who thinks alike, you end up having more energy. You could talk to them more playfully, more boisterously, more loud, because your minds are synergistic to work together. You could be happier with someone who is in sync with you and who is boosting you, lifting you up. And we're all everyone is lifting everybody else up. So when you are, he's showing me this thing. This is true. Shri and Kira, when they're talking, Kira said, when you are choosing the highest possible outcome for yourself at every stage of the ascension process, when you choose it and stick to it and you gain that light, you literally help 100,000 people every time. So he wanted me to mention that. He's like, well, Holly, he's like, why don't you talk about it, because you're the one that saw the video, but he saw it too with me. I think he was with me when I was watching it, because it was good information, and he knew he was going to be channeled today. All right, so and sometimes spirits will hang around, on and off, but he checks in with me mostly because he's my ascension partner. So from time to time, I'll sense his presence. I'm like, Michael, you here, But usually if you have an Ascension partner, Pleiadian, they're not going to just show up randomly. Usually they will wait for you to call. And I think I might have put out a little distress call when I was having strange symptoms a few days ago. So I think he was here with me then. Okay. So go ahead, Michael. So what's happening is these crises, all the different crises in the world, are culminating in one final get-together, basically, where everybody will agree that everybody else is equal and that everyone else deserves free pay and everyone deserves what everyone else has. Because in the end, you're all one. You're all humans, and everyone deserves equal everything. So that unity consciousness is coming stronger. It's there, and it's in existence now, and you guys are doing really well with this, but it's getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And as it gets stronger, some of you start to feel like you're losing bits and pieces and senses of yourself. And in the ways that you're going to be changing, that's okay. Don't panic over it. Don't worry about it. It's bound to happen. So if you had a couple little selfish habits that you would engage in on a regular basis, you might find that you've changed your time in a way that your selfish hour is maybe now your hour that you are maybe still taking time for yourself, but you're thinking of others. Like maybe you're praying for an hour, or maybe you're signing petitions to help social reform move along faster. And that will be your way of unifying with others. And so you're going to start seeing even yourself, you're going to surprise yourself with this, because the energy is that of unity and unification, and it is on its way fully for you. It is on its way fully for you. And a lot of the things that were the messes in your society that you needed to clean up, such as racism, all of these things are being cleaned up. All the evil powers that be, energy is it's not going to last. So what is going to remain after all this is that sense of unity, that ability to telepath with others, the ability to feel others' emotions, the ability to eventually, when the crisis is averted that you're in right now, you'll be able to embrace each other and know and feel that you are equals, and know and feel that you're not competing against each other. And you can know and feel that you are 100% able to live in harmony and cooperation with them. With, in them, by them, he means, he's like, that might have been a problematic word. He's like, with others, with everybody on the planet, it's coming. So we are sending extra special energy to people who are still not awake, people who are still not aware, people who think that the world has gone crazy and law and order must be restored, and the ones that are not seeing the actual crisis for what it is, especially with the Black Lives Matter. There's a lot of crises in the world, though. Now, that's not the only one, but that's the one that most people are familiar with these days. We want you to know that everything is happening in your favor. It might not feel like it, but everything is there for you and working out with you, and you are ascended already and getting farther and deeper into the fifth dimension, and you are headed towards complete and total unity consciousness. And by the way, that is much different than the hive mind of the Borg. So don't be scared and don't be thinking that the hive mind mentality is going to overtake you, because that's not at all what's happening. The ascension itself has nothing to do with us as Pleiadians. It has nothing to do with any other ET group. We are all here simply to observe, love you, and help send energy. So we have had moments where we see someone who has fallen on the battle lines of the Black Lives Matter movement, and even though we're in a different dimension, we have come and given them love and healing energy and fortitude and strength. We've done this many times. We have kind of been enjoying doing that, actually. We love to send you love and light and help. And even if your crisis is a spiritual one and you're in the middle of your bedroom or your living room where you're meditating, we could come and help. You might not feel us or sense us or see us, but we're there to help if you ask us. The second you ask, we're there. So, all right. So is that it? He says, yeah, that's pretty much my recap for what I was saying. Is there anything else you could think of right now? Nope, not really. Just that, know this, we are considering you as family, brothers and sisters, and we do love our families, and we want you to know that we love you no matter what. You don't have to call upon us for us to love you. We always will, because we are already in our society in that unity consciousness, which is where you are definitely not only together with everyone, but you love everybody, and that becomes that strong, solid foundation upon which you build your society, your new society. So, in your new life. So I'm trying to see if there's anything else. If I'm trying to go through my mind, did he send me any? I'm seeing random images of like a desk and like a storefront, and I don't think that's from him. Might have been things that I talked to someone else about. I don't know. Is this from you? He's like, no. He's like, you're seeing images in your subconscious mind because you're straining so hard to see if there's anything else I sent you. He says, no, Elena, it's a very short, sweet, simple message this time. Okay, great. All right. And there it is. That's it. That's what it was. Awesome. Okay. He says, I'd like to end transmission now, but before I do, I send each and every one of you greetings and love from the Pleiades. You may call upon us at any time, like we said, or like I said, to have your Pleiadian Ascension partner. What if you don't want a Pleiadian Ascension partner, but you need help for today? You can ask to have a Pleiadian helper sent to you that will manage your energy, help you manage your energy, and help you see through the holes in your life. You know, maybe everything is doing well, except this one thing could be better. And Pleiadians have a very good sense of psychic ability as well as ability to sense what's wrong. So if you ever need healing, we also are healers, and we will come and help you with any of that. We do this out of a great deal of love, admiration, and respect for your bravery and for your fortitude and for your love. We feel the outpouring of love from many of you. And we wanted to thank you for that too, by the way. We are the Pleiadians. I am Michael Sherhan, or Ashtar Sherhan, and hopefully you'll go outside soon and look up in the skies and you'll see a Pleiadian light ship. You could always ask your Ascension partner to come and show off his light ship. Maybe you'll get to see it. But he's like, but for now, he says, I have to go. And he's bowing. He says, with the God in me, I bow to you. And I ask the Prime Creator of all to give you peace. And I'm sending my love as well. Okay, now he says end transmission. Cool. All right. It feels really good having him here, but he is very, very busy. I don't know what's going on, but it's something to do with his ship. He had to get back, he said. Because he was projecting his consciousness here. His body's on a ship. He's projecting his consciousness here and sitting behind me energetically in his kind of like, I think, his astral body. And then I can just see or hear the words from him. And so, there you go. All right, I'm exhausted, guys. I have to go to bed. I'll be back tomorrow, or basically, technically today, with all unique and original programming, just like always. And that's it. You got 2 more days to vote for me for the People's Choice Podcast Awards. If you have not done that yet, please go listen to the little ad I made about it, because I don't want to have to keep saying all the instructions every time. But basically, peopleschoice.com. Maybe it's called Podcast Awards. See, now I can't remember. I think it's podcastawards.com, actually. So please do that for me. I'm giving this information every day during the week. 508 episodes so far. So, if you want to give back to me, nominate the show. There's always donations. You can do a one-time donation by PayPaling me at mermaidgirl888@gmail.com, or you could PayPal me at metaphysicalsoulspeak@gmail.com. Or there's a way to do it through the Anchor, just listener support. Even if you want to give $1 a month, that helps. Every little bit helps. And I appreciate every little bit. Not bet. Ugh. See, I'm tired. Slurring my words, not good. All right. Anyway, having said all that, I love you guys. I want to thank you for having your continued confidence and faith in me and my abilities and in my show. And I'm sending you guys love always, always, always. Every day I think about it when I wake up, think about it when I go to sleep, and think about while I'm doing the show. So I'm always thinking about sending love to you guys. And today is no different. All right. Anyway, so there you have it. Be your best self. Be aware of that first chakra thing. Be aware of what your ascension symptoms are, and be aware that doesn't mean that you're a fully illuminated, real self-realized self-master because you have a symptom. The symptoms are letting us know where we need a little bit of work, and it could be a temporary fleeting thought you had, and now it's lodged in your ear, and your ear hurts, and then you move the energy, and suddenly your ear doesn't hurt anymore. It can. These little bits and pieces and crises are actually our friend, and they're opportunities to grow spiritually. So it's always a good thing, actually. It's a really awesome and good thing. So anyway, there you have it, guys. I'm kaput, as they say. But I continue to send Reiki out into the world, by the way. I just got a message. Some or one of you, or some of you, really feel like you need energy healing. I started a grid around the whole planet, and I'm not the only one. There's thousands of light workers on the project. Lisa Transcendence Brown was one of them. I heard her mention the healing grid beneath our feet, the 5th dimensional healing grid that she helped to build, and I thought that was pretty cool. It was validation for me. She doesn't know me. I don't know her. But I love her. She's an amazing person. And basically, I went through and put my Reiki into it, and I think other people are doing this also. And the more I put Reiki into it, the better it got. So now I'm channeling Reiki 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for many, many, many years now into this healing grid around the planet. So if you ever need healing, this is all you need to do. It's super, super hard. You have to say, I would like healing from the healing grid. Thank you. That's it. Boom. Done. That's it. Okay. See, it's not hard at all. It's easy. So just say, I need healing energy for my wrist or my ear or my eye or whatever. Whatever you want healing. Or my heart. If you have a broken heart. If you're nursing a heartache or emotional shock. Especially with the crises in the U.S. I mean, and it's around the world as well with the Black Lives Matter movement. You know, this is at a critical point. We have to be on the right side of history. Black lives do matter. And so does this movement. It's important to not ever lose sight of why they're protesting in the beginning, right? But just seeing these images have been very shocking and emotionally draining and very, very sad. So you can ask the healing grid. You can ask your Pleiadian Ascension partner or get a Pleiadian healer, or you could just ask the grid itself. Hey, healing grid, heal my feet. Hey, healing grid, heal my anxiety. Hey, healing grid. Yeah, why not? You know, maybe do it when no one's around because you don't want to sound crazy in case you're around closed-minded people. You could probably say it silently and it would still flow to you. That Reiki is instantaneous. It's instantaneous, so a lot of people get helped with it. So just wanted to mention that before I sign off for the day. But I'm going to be back a lot sooner than you think. All right, but for now, I am signing off with peace and joy and the high vibrations of the Holy Fifth Dimension. Until next time, guys, peace. Metaphysical Soul Speak is run on sponsors and listener support. This means listeners like you. If you are so inclined to support my efforts and my little podcast, please visit me at anchor.fm/metaphysical and pledge an amount of your choosing today. Thank you.